And now, the Fox 24 News Now Spotlight Music Series.
They are the Peter Pan and Tinker Bell of country music. On this week's Spotlight Music Series, we're joined by the duo known as Sally and George, Shelby Means and Joel Timmons. It's so good to see you both. Thank you for joining us. Now, you're married musicians. As married musicians, what's the collaboration process like?
It's always interesting. First and foremost, there's a nice foundation of love and trust and respect, which is really important when we're working together as musicians and creative people. There's always a little bit of give and take, with somebody has a strong idea and the other person has another strong idea. And so there can be a little bit of clashing heads in that way. But I think the most important is that we love and respect each other. And so we can always, at the end of the day, say, all right, let's compromise.
You're from Wyoming. Joel, you're from here in Charleston, where you led the band Soul Driven Train. How did you two meet?
We met at a festival. Both of us were touring with different bands full-time. Joel was Soul Driven Train, and I was with a bluegrass band called Delamay. And we performed at a Bristol Rhythm and Roots Festival in 2012. We met at that festival.
Well, you had a brush with death in 2004, Joel. Can you talk a little bit more about what happened here and then just kind of how that changed the trajectory of your life?
Wow. Yeah. It was in 2003 and 2004. I did an around the world trip. I'd graduated from the College of Charleston and worked for a year to save up money and did this big trip all through the Pacific and Asia. And I was in India at the time, in Northwest India up in Ladakh. And I started having strange neurological symptoms, lost the sensation in my hands, and then started getting clumsy, and quickly got medevaced to a hospital in New Delhi, where they diagnosed me with Guillain-Barré syndrome, which is a relatively rare autoimmune disorder. And I quickly went downhill to where I was totally paralyzed. Was on a ventilator and everything for about almost 3 weeks, and 7 weeks total in the hospital in New Delhi before I was able to fly back to the States, and then a whole year of physical therapy before I was kind of back to standing and singing and performing. That was a big part of my healing, was like getting strong enough to hold the guitar again. And certainly it gave me the perspective of like, well, life is short and fleeting, and what do I really want to do with it? You never know when it's going to disappear.
That's exactly, and that was something I wanted to ask you. So how has that changed your outlook for your life and making choices and getting married and collaborating with your favorite person in the world?
Yeah.
Sticking to Peter Pan.
Yeah. Absolutely. Now, Sally and George, who is Sally and George?
Sally and George were my maternal grandparents, and when we were recording our first album, Tip My Heart, we ended up wearing a lot of their clothes and kind of adopting their fashion after a few things. Even on the cover of this album, Take You on a Ride, I'm wearing a coat of George's and a scarf of Sally's. So we're trying to keep their spirit alive.
Beautiful. And you're in fact wearing one of her necklaces right now.
Right.
It's so beautiful. So beautiful. A wonderful way to pay tribute. What can we look forward to come not only Halloween, October 31st, but 2021?
Yeah, we've tried to take what was a big setback to our expectations and turn it into an opportunity, to
Absolutely.
spend family and camping.
Yeah, you certainly have done that. I think that is fantastic. Well, audiences here are so excited to see you perform. You're going to be at Firefly Distillery on Wadmalaw Island. That's happening October 31st. Tickets are available, so people go out, get them. You can bring your blanket. You can have food, drink, and enjoy just fantastic music. Well, our audience is here. Can't wait to see some music from you coming up in this next half. So it's Sally and George with Listen Sister. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
We're back after this.